How big of a concern is mold in generic coffee?
I mean, I don't like to overly lean on this because I never want to be overly woo-woo, and some people think this conversation is very woo-woo. I'm somebody who actually reads the ads, and I read what people are responding to on Instagram ads, and some of the disbelief on mold is kind of wild. But if you look it up, it is roughly 56% of all packaged coffee has mold. Okay. So depending on the level of the heat of the water, you could be killing a majority of that mold in the brewing process. Yes. You could also have mold in your coffee maker.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places for mold when moisture is present, and beans are packed with moisture, right? They literally have, small amounts of moisture that are stuck inside of them, even after the roasting process, the oil, like all these different things. Where when that coffee also could be a year old by the time it got to you. Right? So technically, if you're talking about snobbity, you should only be drinking coffee that was roasted in the last 30 to 60 days based on what coffee like aficionados say, which that coffee to me never even tastes that great, right? It's so bold and just like fucking punch you in the face. It's like, hey, if you like drinking whiskey and you don't make this face afterwards, it's like, you watch guys drink whiskey and they always make the,
savages.
Yeah, it's so good. Whatever you got to tell yourself, to make yourself feel good for spending that much. But when the way our coffee is sourced, it is picked, cropped, right? Roasted within a week to 2 weeks, and then freezed and then brewed almost instantly because it's in the same system, and then freeze dried. Contrary to belief, whether you eat vegetables or not, if you're on the side of eating vegetables, frozen broccoli has way more nutrients than fresh broccoli, right? Well, so does freeze-dried coffee. The amount of antioxidant in it are drastically higher. And if we, as you stated earlier in the conversation, are 76% of all of our antioxidants in America come from coffee, I would probably want a higher source of antioxidants in my coffee then, right? Considering that so much of us are debilitated from stress and things in our body that are destroying us from the inside out, right? So freeze-dried coffee, everybody wants to have this, versus bean coffee, and versus ground coffee, versus the way that we brew it, is it drip? Is it French press? Is it, everybody wants to have that conversation because they're just being distracted by something that doesn't matter. Like what coffee is better because of where it's from and who roasted it and how long they roasted it for. Maybe if it was a leather jacket, right? Maybe if it was like a classic car that was handcrafted for you. But I want to know what coffee is better for me. And for anybody that's concerned with their health and their performance and their focus, that should be the real question, right? Because if your job is to pick up that tool and do those things, you want that tool to be the best tool at doing those things. You don't grab a wrench and start pounding nails with it. And that's like what coffee is to like 99% of all your tasks, traditional coffee. Strong coffee though, rewrites the wrongs that coffee can have for certain people and amplifies the experience to make sure that you have like a 24-volt lithium ion drill that you're just pounding these screws through because you have the right tool for the job.
Hello friends, if you enjoyed that clip, then you can watch the entire thing by heading to this link over here, or you can find us wherever you find podcasts by searching Radical Health Radio. If there's value here, please hit that like button, let us know in a comment what your biggest takeaway was, and hit subscribe, support the show as we support you. We'll see you soon.